Well, my friends, it seems Georgia's gone and elected itself a president who's more comfortable with balls than ballots. Mikheil Kavelashvili, former soccer star turned political player, has just been inaugurated as Georgia's new leader. But meow, this is no ordinary election victory. It's more like scoring an own goal against democracy. Our new president went from dribbling balls to fumbling democracy faster than you can say offside. This former Manchester City striker scored 224 out of 225 votes in a parliamentary election, a hat-trick even Messi would envy. Kavelashvili, who once dazzled on the pitch for Manchester City, has now pulled off his most impressive trick yet, winning an election with near-perfect synchronization, a feat that would make even the most authoritarian of regimes blush with envy. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This electoral college victory comes amidst a backdrop of protests that would make even the rowdiest football hooligans look tame. Thousands have taken to the streets of Tbilisi, turning Freedom Square into a human stadium of discontent. It's like a massive angry fan club, but instead of chanting for their team, they're demanding democracy. The protesters are waving their diplomas in the air like red cards, mocking Kavelashvili's lack of higher education. It's a pitch invasion of civic discontent, if you will. Former President Salome Zurabishvili, clearly not a fan of this political match-fixing, has declared, "There is no legitimate parliament and thus no legitimate election or inauguration." Ouch! That's a verbal tackle that would make even the toughest midfielder wince. But why all the fuss, you ask? Well, it seems Kavelashvili and his Georgian Dream Team have been playing a bit too nicely with their big neighbour to the north. They've introduced a charming little piece of legislation called the Foreign Agent Law, which bears an uncanny resemblance to similar rules in Russia. It's as if they've copied Russia's homework and tried to pass it off as their own. This charming piece of legislation requires organisations receiving more than 20% foreign funding to register as agents of foreign influence. It's like they're creating a league table of potential traitors, and the prizes aren't exactly Champions League trophies. Instead of points, they're handing out labels that scream potential traitor. The European Union, watching from the sidelines, is not impressed. They've blown the whistle on this foul play, suspending Georgia's EU candidacy faster than a referee reaching for a red card. It's a yellow card for Georgia's democracy, and if they're not careful, they might find themselves relegated from the European Integration League altogether. But let's not forget the historical context here, my friends. Georgia and Russia have a bit of a complicated relationship, to put it mildly. Remember the 2008 war? It was like a geopolitical derby match, but with tanks instead of footballers. Russia recognised the breakaway regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia as independent states, effectively moving the goalposts of Georgian sovereignty. Since then, it's been a game of political chess, or should I say football, with Russia trying to keep Georgia firmly within its sphere of influence. And meow, with Kavelashvili at the helm, it seems they might just be succeeding. It's as if Georgia's dream of joining the EU has been caught offside by Russian interference. Putin's playing political chess, while Kavelashvili's still trying to figure out how to set up the board. The consequences of this political own goal could be severe. Georgia's economy, much like a struggling football club, relies heavily on foreign investment and economic assistance. With the EU blowing the full-time whistle on accession talks until 2028, Georgia might find itself in an economic relegation battle. This political own goal could have a ripple effect across the region. It's like Georgia just scored against itself in the Caucasus Cup, and now everyone's wondering who's going to slip up next. Georgia, sitting at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, is like the midfield playmaker in the geopolitical game. Whoever controls Georgia gets to dictate the flow of influence in the region. Western leaders are watching this match from the VIP box, alternating between face-palming and frantically scribbling new game plans. It's like they've just realised their star player might be considering a transfer to the rival team. The Georgian Dream Party, founded by billionaire Bidzina Ivanishvili, has been pulling the strings of Georgian politics like a master puppeteer. It's a political circus, and Kavelashvili is their newest acrobat. At this rate, Georgia's path to the EU looks about as straight as a drunk footballer trying to take a penalty. They might need to call in VR, very anxious Russians, to review their game plan. So, what's next for Georgia? Will Kavelashvili manage to keep his team together, or will the opposition force a penalty shootout? One thing's for sure, This political match is far from over. The protesters are still on the pitch, the EU is watching from the stands, and Russia, well, Russia might just be the VAR in this game, influencing decisions behind the scenes. Remember, my friends, in the grand stadium of geopolitics, it's not just about who wins or loses, but how the game is played. And right, Meow, it seems Georgia might be playing by some very questionable rules indeed. If you've enjoyed this political play-by-play, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to Newscats. We'll keep bringing you the latest updates from this geopolitical Premier League. Until next time, I'm Ron de Parmesan, signing off from the commentary box of Global Affairs. We'll be back with more stories soon. I'm Ron de Parmesan, reporting for Newscats.